All right, guys, so I am back with another video. What I've got going on this table is this beautiful animal print Crepe de Chine that I purchased from Fabric Wholesale Direct. I've never ordered fabric from them before, but I've heard so many people talking about how great the customer service is and the quality of fabric. I thought I would give it a try because, as you know, I am working on my new look pattern, right? Okay, so capture the vision for a minute. So I'm gonna do view A, which is the view here. So I am doing this animal print with the front and the back, and then the bottom here is a separate gathered piece that I am going to use this black that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I was trying to find something in Hobby Lobby that was on the lines of a Crepe de Chine, and there was nothing there. I saw no rayon. I saw nothing of this texture that I thought would be suitable for the gathered bottom of this dress. So I got this lightweight cotton. It's just a basic woven. It's light enough where it kind of gives you a little bit of a silky look, silky feel, but it's not silk at all. And as I'm looking at this, it is very thin. It's a very thin piece of fabric here. Having said that, I am going to use it for the gathering at the very bottom of this dress here. Now, I'm looking at how thin this fabric is because you can like see through this. And looking at the dress here, this is probably gonna stop right under my bum, potentially. So what I will do is make sure, because it's thin and it is, you could possibly see through this, I'll wear like some black body shapewear so that you don't see right through it and be able to see all what's going on under my dress. So I am going to go ahead and work this over. I'm super excited about getting this dress done with my animal print. So as you know, I think I already said, I have never worked with Crepe de Chine before. It is a silkier feeling fabric, so it brings me a little bit of intimidation. I will be very honest with you. However, I am not going to get stuck in that. I'm going to keep moving ahead and get this done. I do have this book here that I've referenced several times on my channel. It's the All New Fabric Savvy, and it's a really great resource for anybody who is out here sewing. Let me pull this out some. Out here sewing, and just curious about different fabrics and how to sew with them, what works best, what doesn't work best, really how to work with your fabric. And if I turn to this book on page 40, there's a whole 2 pages just devoted to Crepe de Chine. So I am going to take some time and read through this. I am going to get my fabric cut out. I'm super excited about that. Now that I know that toile worked out really well, I probably also need to change out my needle on my baby lock at this point, because I've done definitely a couple of hours worth of sewing on my baby lock, and although I think I've only done maybe 2 projects, maybe like 2 or maybe 1. No, I've done 2. Wait a minute, what have I done? I've done 2 alterations on it so far, and I've done the knit dress that I just finished up. So I've done enough with that needle, I think, and I will probably just need to trade it out because for one, I've used it quite a bit, and for two, this Crepe de Chine will probably, as I can see here, require a different type of needle than what's in my machine, and based off the fabric it's just a different kind of fabric that I'm using. So yes, those are my plans. So I am going to sit and go through this before I do any cutting of my fabric, so I can make sure that I am paying close attention to what is being recommended here, and then I am going to get the cutting. All right, so I looked at the book, and a couple things I noted is that one of the sewing tips, it says to hand baste the seam for fitting and to avoid using a seam ripper, which makes 100% sense because this fabric is so thin, you don't want to risk putting holes in it. So I will be doing a basting style stitch on my machine, and then I will go over that stitch with a regular stitch, straight stitch, because if I mess up, I'm going to be able to take the seams out pretty easily. It also recommends that I pin the pattern through the fabric and paper for the layout suggestions. So I did not do that, and I don't think I'm going to do that because I don't like the idea of having to keep lifting up the fabric or lifting the fabric and the pattern piece to get them to pin, and I'm much more comfortable just once the pattern piece is in place, using my weights and just cutting around. That way I'm not manipulating the fabric, I'm not manipulating the pattern piece. It's flat, it's stable. I'll use a rotary cutter to cut around, and then I'll work on my markings and my notches. It does also suggest that I use a 68 or a 65/9 or a 70/10 needle. And those look to be the Microtex sharp needles. It does say on here that a 70/10 is a jean denim, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the 68, and I believe I do have some of those needles. I'll have to double check. Hopefully I do. It also tells me to make sure that my stitch length is between a 1.5 and a 2.0, so I will keep note of that when I go over the basting stitch to make sure that the stitch length is the recommended length of the 1.5 or 2.0. It recommends using a standard presser foot. It does say to switch the needle to the far left position to support the fabric on 3 sides. So that part right there, the supporting fabric on 3 sides, I'm not sure what that might mean, but once I cut this up and I have my scrap fabric, I'm going to take some scrap fabric and pretty much do all of what it's recommending in terms of the stitch length, the needle, and the presser foot. This does recommend me doing a seam finish like a French seam or a flat felt. I don't know about a French seam or a flat felt. I have never done either. I've done French seams on like a pillowcase, but not on a garment. But I'm gonna follow whatever the pattern instructions say as it relates to the seam finish. I know one of the seam finishes recommends a bias tape, so I'll use bias tape around the arms, I think it said. And for pressing, it says to do a dry iron on a silk setting. So gotta make sure this is a lot, y'all. This is a lot, but I'm gonna get through it. On the silk setting, so I'll make sure that my Rowenta is set properly. There are some suggestions for top stitching, but I don't believe my pattern calls for any kind of top stitching. And then again, so there's a seam finish, and then there's also the hem, and it says that you can do a serge finish or a Hong Kong finish on a raw edge. I might actually go and look up this Hong Kong finish, because I've heard of that before, but don't really know what that looks like. So I'm gonna look that up. I could just kick myself because my serger is clonked out, but I could definitely see this as being something I could serge really quickly, but I don't have my serger. So what I will likely do to avoid any raveling, if I can't do the French seam or this flat fell or the Hong Kong, I will just do a overcast where the raw edges are, and just, you know, make sure I finish it off that way to avoid any kind of raveling. So I have got my work cut out for me with this. So while I said I want this to be done fast, I really didn't mean that, because I acknowledge that I sew very slowly. But what I really mean is, like, I don't want this to be something I'm working on for like the next 3 or 4 weeks, right? For me, I really want this to be done in like a week and a half, 2 weeks tops, right? And I'm saying that because I have to give myself flexibility and room to be attentive to other things that I'm doing right now. And because this is all very new, I have to be realistic with the learning curve that I'm going to have in working with this fabric. So yeah, I wanted to come back and just show you all what I discovered as I was reading through the book tonight. I'm hoping that this will turn out really, really well. I can come back and show you guys in a separate video just how it's going, you know, how am I liking it, my experience using Crepe de Chine for the first time. Yeah, so if you are watching my video, make sure you like and subscribe. That way you are following this journey as I complete this new look pattern using my Crepe de Chine that I purchased from Fabric Wholesale Direct.